Bungie, we need to talk. Who decided over there at bungie.corp.com that there was going to be a Top Tree Nova Bomb Warlock disguised as a Cran Eater? Because sign me up, I want some more of that. Hello everybody, I'm Hater and welcome back to another build video, where the topic of today's video is going to be, if you couldn't guess, Middle Tree Sentinel Titan and a build that I made for it. And what better place to start off than a quick recap of what the Middle Sentinel Tree has to offer. The first main perk being the Banner Shield, where whenever you guard with the Sentinel Shield, it's going to bring up a giant banner that will block any projectile in the front of it. This is not important to the build at all. Actually, at this point, it's just bonus to the other two abilities that Middle Sentinel has for us. Because the real star of the show is called Controlled Demolition, where whenever we damage an enemy with a void ability, it can be your melee, it could be damaging your super, and it can be your grenades, it's gonna apply a void detonator. And this void detonator will explode if they take enough damage or they are low enough on HP, which will then proc the other ability, Resupply, giving us and the members of our fire team, if they're close enough, health, grenade, and melee energy back whenever a void detonator explodes. And there's that word again, explodes. Because whenever something explodes, it counts as explosion damage, or something affected by an explosion. And that basically means it's gonna proc the mod Explosive Wellmaker, where whenever you get a kill with an explosion or explosion damage, it's gonna create a solar elemental well. And for those who don't understand what elemental wells do, whenever you create one and pick it up, it's gonna give you energy to your lowest ability. But if that elemental well matches your subclass type, it's going to give you energy to all three of your abilities. Now take that information that I just gave you and throw it out the window, because what we're going to use is another mod that completely ignores that rule, or benefit per se. That mod being Well of Ordnance, where whenever we pick up a solar elemental well, it's going to give us a lot of grenade energy, doubling down on the previously mentioned resupply. So now, on top of being able to get our grenade, melee, and health back from detonators exploding, we're also going to create solar elemental wells that will also give us grenade energy back. But it doesn't stop there, because we can amplify this even further with another elemental well mod. And I'm referring to the mod Bountiful Wells, where all of our well making mods create one extra well and allow us to stack more copies of this same mod to increase this benefit even further. Allow me to explain. Take Explosive Wellmaker for example. Whenever we get an explosive kill, it's going to create a solar elemental well. Whenever we have Bountiful Wells on, one copy of Explosive Wellmaker is going to create two solar elemental wells. Then every copy that we have that is extra is also going to create one more extra solar elemental well. So if we have two explosive well makers and bountiful wells, it's going to create three solar elemental wells, and so on for each one that we add on top of it. And that's gonna allow us to do some pretty crazy things, where a lot of Middle Tree Sentinel is explosions. Because we're going to be running two of these explosive well makers on, or three if we can fit it in. And that realistically only works if you have 5 solar armor pieces for the build, which 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be running 5 of the same armor types at once. So to accommodate this, unless you're an absolute psychopath that does run 5 of the same armor type, you can run Elemental Ordnance or something like Melee Wellmaker to fit that need. So with all the mods together, when we've got, 2 explosive well makers, the Bountiful Wells, the Well of Ordnance, and the Elemental Ordnance or Melee Well Maker, you're going to create around 5 elemental wells per grenade or melee explosion, depending on what you run. More specifically, 3 solar wells and 2 void wells. All of which, when you pick them up, is practically going to give you your entire grenade back just to throw it again. And with us collectively creating this amount of wells, it pretty much opens up the exotic slot for the Titan. If I had to choose though, I have a few favorites that I like to run with this build. And my favorite of the bunch is gonna be the Heart of Inmost Light, where whenever we use any of our abilities, it's gonna empower the other two, increasing their overall recharge rate, damage, and for the barricade, it's gonna increase its overall HP. The whole deal with this exotic is to make it the overall perfect neutral game exotic. You're gonna be using your abilities, you're gonna be creating those wells, you're gonna pick up those wells, you got the recharge rate, you got the extra damage. It's a match made in heaven, why wouldn't you use it? And I can easily see this being used in a lot of solo tier content or in lower tier strikes or even in Nightfalls when you want to run this as a Nightfall exotic. But if I had to choose a real Nightfall exotic or end tier game exotic, you're going to be using the Ursa Furiosa, let's be honest. And for those who don't know what Ursa Furiosa does is whenever you are holding up the banner shield while you're in your super, every time you deflect shots and you have teammates near you, it's going to give you super energy back based on how much you guard. At the same time as increasing the overall lifespan of your banner shield, capping out at the amount of return to about 50% of your entire super. This was also changed a while back because you used to be able to get your entire super back, but that proved to be way too overpowered. Especially since you had people running around with a giant banner in PvP gaining their entire super bars back when they're just face ramming people with a banner shield. It's a valiant tactic though, but I digress. Speaking of super related exotics, we can still talk about another one that is also a pretty good option for ad clear. And that's going to be the Doomfang Pauldrons. Yeah, those things. We don't see them that often, but they're actually kind of underrated, and I'll explain why. Because what Doomfang Pauldrons does is whenever you get powered melee kills, it's going to give you super energy. That's a bonus. The real holy grail of its perks is its other one, where whenever you get a kill with its shield toss, aka the Dinner Plate Launcher 9000, it's gonna extend your super, and on top of that, whenever you get a kill with the left click, it's gonna instantly refill your shield throw. The whole reason I bring this up is because in Middle Tree Sentinel Super, your powered kills of your left clicks and your shield toss are all gonna count towards void detonators, allowing you to explode enemies instantly. And if you couldn't guess, it's all gonna proc Explosive Well Maker. So after you've gotten all of this carnage like spawned from your super, you've got like so many elemental wells waiting for you in the aftermath. Overall, the final thoughts on this is just try and take advantage of how strong Explosive Well Maker is with the explosive detonators. And then just focus an exotic around the entire loadout that would fit your needs for whatever content you're doing. You want to do strikes just to blow right through them? You can run your Doomfang Pauldrons. If you're running like Lost Sectors, you can run your Heart of Inmost Light. Or if you're in raids, you can run your Ursas. All in all, I did my best to make this build as flexible as possible, where all the weapons that you run for this loadout are practically up to you in this case. But I think that's going to be it for me, guys. Remember, if this build helped you out and you used this build, give the video a like, leave a comment down in the comment section if there's anything you want to see me cover in the future. We're going to be talking about Witch Queen and the 30th anniversary when it starts coming out. So if you want to stay tuned for that and keep updated, then consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the bell to be notified when any build video goes out. Also consider dropping by my Twitch. I stream every single day that I can whenever I'm not working on videos like these. I try to primarily focus variety over there, so if you're interested in that, then that'll be in the description too. But I think that's going to be it for me, guys. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.